All right, Shalom, Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Hashim Yahushai, Ba'Hashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truth and in all sincerity. And Shalom to the rest of the elect, the men who can't prophesy because they are. It's not their lot, and the women and children who believe. Shalom to all of y'all. All right, just want to do a live on this I want to do a live on the Joe Blow ByeDens dark winter agenda continuing to be furthered, and how it lines up with biblical prophecy for those of y'all that don't know. And recently there's been different blackout type incidents or incidents dealing with the grid. And for those of y'all that don't get the reference to dark winter, Joe Biden said he said at the end of the last presidential debate, as well as when he was the president-elect, that we was heading into a dark winter. And we're about to find out exactly what this devil Biden meant, man. But I'm gonna bring out these articles right here, kind of give you an idea, and also link it up to these Bible verses that I pulled up. Let me get right into it. All right, so you had let me get that incident in China too. Which kind of shows you how they might bring it about. Because, they've been planning this for a while, and they're showing you in these different ways. And got this article right here. Wait, hold up. I think this is a better one right here. There was a video of drones, a bunch of drones falling from the sky. Like they had just fucking died, just like that. And that's how it. Nah, you know what? Let me just get this one right here. I think it proves the point of what they're trying to do. These elites. The House of Esau that control the world. Let me start off right here. This article right here by the National Interest. So-called Chinese engineers shot down a large drone using an electromagnetic pulse. Along the stuff of science fiction, electromagnetic pulse, or EMP type weapons could be the newest thing in modern weaponry. Here is what we know about China's latest efforts. A group of Chinese engineers brought down a large unmanned aircraft using a new electromagnetic pulse type weapon in what could be China's first test of EMP weaponry. First reported on by the South China Morning Post, the test reportedly concentrated a powerful beam of electromagnetic energy on the aircraft during a flight at 1,500 meters, or nearly 5,000 feet in altitude. According to the report, the aircraft behaved unexpectedly after an EMP beam struck the aircraft. The aircraft did not drop immediately but veered abruptly from one side to another for a period. Flight data and analysis of debris recovered from the crash site suggested that sensitive electronic devices, including its satellite navigation system, cryoscope, accelerometer, barometric altimeter, and communication device, had not been damaged. The battery and motors also functioned properly until collision. In all likelihood, the aircraft's flight control system malfunctioned. Issuing the air control command, an engineer involved with the live fire event explained. Unlike kinetic or explosive weapons, electromagnetic pulse type weapons rely on frying electrical systems, rendering them useless. Thus, airplanes, drones, trucks, anything that relies on onboard electronics are vulnerable, less specifically hardened against EMP threats. New weaponry, although not the same kind of weapon, the United States has made progress in recent years in developing a laser-type weapon going so far as to arm some active-duty Navy ships with the laser prototype while on patrol, and that's all cap. That's all cap right there because, if they come out with, oh, we got this weapon now, we're working on this weapon now, they've been had it for 10 years. But yeah, just a side note, bro. But I'm going to continue on reading this article. Unlike EMPs, laser weapons rely on intensely focused energy like microwaves on particles, although both require huge amounts of energy to be generated to be effective. EMPs are often associated with nuclear weapons, as large electromagnetic pulses are a byproduct of nuclear explosions. According to the report, the world's highest recorded power output for an EMP type weapon is around 20 gigawatts, although the maximum output may be as high as 80 gigawatts. Tactical High Power Operational Responder (THOR) (THOR). The United States Air Force Research Laboratory's Tactical High Power Operational Responder (THOR) is one American EMP weapon the U.S. flying branch is developing. THOR not as a precise offensive weapon, but rather as a counter-swarm EMP intended to defend air bases from swarms of drone threats using high-powered microwaves. A video animation of the THOR system from earlier this year shows an air-mobile containerized THOR system taking down swarms of drones at a remote desert outpost. Though flying in tight formation directly for the base, the entire swarm quickly falls to the ground simultaneously, presumably due to a loss of power, though still in their infancy, which is bullshit. electromagnetic pulse type weapons could potentially revolutionize warfare. Could they herald the arrival of real life Star Wars? It's still fucking dreaming, but it is what it is, you know. Also, they trying to imitate the chariots, you know, shoot concentrated heat beams. But it is what it is. They ain't fun to be able to do it. But yeah, you know, they're basically testing out their technology and shit. I got another article right here. You know, it's not all. Got another article going into what happened in Puerto Rico. You know, I got another article that will go into what happened in Lebanon. You know, it's like basically a snapshot of what they got in store for us. You know, Puerto Rico declares state of emergency. Oh, and like I'm not saying this like a 3 days of darkness type deal coming here because that's like that's they get that from plagues of ancient Egypt, and you know it's not going to be exact 3 days of darkness. May have areas that's dark for months. May have areas that don't really get affected, but you know they're gonna pull this shit, man. They're gonna pull this type of shit. Let me get into this article. Puerto Rico, and they've been running drills where, you know, the grid was taken down and all that shit, man. They've been doing that. But let me get into this article right here. Puerto Rico declares state of emergency over power grids, quote unquote critical condition. Quote unquote, now we're in a state of urgent implementation and we must execute, quote unquote. Fernando Gil Enseñat, Puerto Rico's Electric Power Authority board president, told reporters Friday. And then, you know, shows right here, and the title don't even mention nothing about cyber attack. It just says the power grid is in critical condition. But the caption right here, it shows people walking in the street left in darkness by a power power outage after a cyber attack in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico on June 10. So, you know, like even there, they're kind of throwing hints of what they finna do. But yeah, you know, when you take a look at that caption, well, that pic right there that's front and center, and that's like a snapshot right there of how they gonna have people these different areas hit by these EMPs or whatever they're gonna use to fucking cause it to happen. Let me get probably cyber attack or some shit. They finna blame it on it probably. Just noticing, you know, based off of what they mentioned on the news about, they always talking about cyber attack coming on. They drilling that into your head for a reason. You know, it's predictive programming. But let me get into this article further. All right. Puerto Rico has declared a state of emergency due to the quote unquote critical condition of its generating power plants. The governing board of the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority voted in favor of the I think I already went into that part right there. Yeah, because it's like, nah, never mind. My bad, Salaki. Voted in favor of the declaration on Friday. Fernando Gil Insignat, the board's president, told reporters on Friday, quote unquote, based on this result, I could tell you that this procedure has already been approved, quote unquote. Gil Insignat said in Spanish, now we're in a state, quote unquote, now we're in a state of urgent implementation and we must execute. Energy security is important, quote unquote. The declaration will help speed up, quote unquote, the acquisition of essential goods and services required to fix a generation unit. And this is of course, they're gonna have like a little cover story behind it, but we know they try and tell us, just showed us at the beginning of this article. Let me continue on because what's in this article, what else is mentioned, it may show show how they gonna bring that shit, make that shit happen, or what they're gonna blame it on them. But probably a cyber attack. I'm a guess, But let me continue. The declaration. Okay, yeah. Josue Colon, director of the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority, said in a statement Wednesday evening, the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority is not the only entity in charge of providing the U.S. territory's power supply. A private company has been in charge of the transmission and distribution of electricity on the island since June, while the Power Authority of Public Corporation continues to be in charge of controlling power generation units. Since the power grid's partial privatization, hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans on the island have been subject to constant blackouts. They've also experienced longer service restoration times, poor customer service, and voltage fluctuations that often damage appliances and other home electronics. The situation has alarmed members of Congress who are concerned that Puerto Rico's extreme power supply instability may be the prologue to the complete collapse of the grid in the near future. What's a prologue? Let me get it. It's very important to look up the definition of words. Prologue or prologue from Greek prologos, from pro meaning before, and logos meaning word, is an opening to a story that establishes the context and gives background details, often some earlier story that ties into the main one and other miscellaneous information. There's a reason why they worded it like that. On Wednesday, the House Natural, get more predictive programming. On Wednesday, the House Natural Resources Committee hosted a congressional oversight hearing to examine the status of Puerto Rico's electric network and its partial privatization. During the hearing, when lawmakers asked if Puerto Rico's power system is nearing a complete collapse, officials in charge of LUMA and the Power Authority answered with caution, describing the system's condition as critical, quote unquote. Quote unquote, the system was repaired after the hurricane but not restored, quote unquote. Colon said about how the Power Authority has struggled with a blackout since Hurricane Maria decimated the island's antiquated electric grid in 2017, triggering the world's second longest blackout. Wayne Stansby, LUMA's chief executive officer, said scheduled power supply interruptions and loud shedding to avoid excessive load on power generating plants have helped avoid a collapse, quote unquote. That's why it's now, they're gonna, quote unquote, I'm just gonna basically, I'm gonna get down to the point, quote unquote. That's why it's so critical that we continue on with repairs on generation and repairs and restoration on transmission, Stansby said. More than $11 billion in federal funds have been approved by Congress to upgrade Puerto Rico's power system, but no money has been disbursed yet, pending further approval of specific projects that will help accomplish such goal, such goals. The outages have increasingly outraged Puerto Rican residents fed up with their access to expensive and unreliable electricity. Protests have begun to take place. No, honest, let's go into that. Since Puerto Ricans saw a fourth increase in their electric bill this year, even though they already paid twice as much as mainland U.S. power consumers, more protests are. I was gonna get to the point soon. More protests are scheduled for Friday and October 15th when the coalition Todos Somos Pueblos plans to rob. Okay, so they're having fucking protests over that. But hey, imagine when they take down the grid altogether, man. This is gonna be fucking riots. It's something else that's gonna happen from that as well. All right, Shalom. I'm back. I had an interruption. Well, let me I had an interruption. Phone died. Let me get back into this article, and then I'm gonna bring out what happened in Lebanon. And we'll see the trend there. If you see it, you know, got eyes to see. But let me get back. Let me get back at it. All right. Actually, I think I may have addressed the point here already. So let me get to this is what they're trying to do. This is what they're trying to tell you, man. Predictive programming shit. Let me get this article right here where there's actual power outage. And hold on. Let me get into it right here. So from yesterday, it's from yesterday. It's a Reuters article, and we'll get into it. Lebanese power outage will last for several days. Government officials, government official. According to this government official, Lebanon has no elect has no centrally generated electricity after fuel shortages forced its two largest power stations to shut down, a government official told Reuters on Saturday. The Lebanese power network completely stopped working at noon today, and it's unlikely that it will work until next Monday or several days, quote unquote, the official said. The state electricity company confirmed in a statement that the thermoelectric plant at the Zahrani power station had stopped. The Deir Amal plant stopped on Friday. The shutdown of the two power stations had directly affected the stability of the power network and led to its complete outage, with no possibility of resuming operations in the meantime, quote unquote, the statement said. The Lebanese army agreed to provide 6,000 kiloliters of gas oil to distribute. So, let me continue on. Agreed to provide 6,000 kiloliters of gas oil distributed equally between the two power stations, the state electricity company said in a statement reported by national news agency. This quantity will secure power in Lebanon for 3 days, the statement added. Many Lebanese hold on. This shit fucking loaded on me even more. This shit fucking slowed up though. Hold up. Slack. Yeah. That was not much saying. Hindering this shit. Let me continue. The quantity was I just read that about how we'll secure power in Lebanon for 3 days, but it's gonna be it's unlikely that it'll work until next Monday or for several days. Many Lebanese normally not that's where they added all them other details and shit like that. But the whole point is that you have more and more of those incidents, which they're not by accident. These are like, you could think of them as test runs. It's like you have test runs of, like, yeah, basically like for what they trying to do here. Just like you have test run of that, of basically more hardcore martial law over there in Australia. Straight up. Just like you have it over there, you have that gas shortage in the UK that they brought about. Yeah, you have these different events. Shit, China, the land of Moab, man, it's like a huge testing ground. That area is already like that country is already in the New World Order. If you look at it, that's what they're trying to bring here. You got something called a social credit system. You got an internet firewall where it's content you can't access. It's banned. They got concentration camps over there and shit, and then now they have them in Australia. They have COVID camps, or DVOC camps. For the algorithms, you gotta like, you know, work around them. But you know what I mean, and that goes into demonic possession and shit. Devout, what it means. That's what it means. Demon, that it means a demon basically. Goes back to what they call Jewish mythology, like 1948ers. But instead, but the part that's mythology about it is that it's a person, that dead soul of a person that possesses someone else. That's mythology, because that's obviously not what happens to someone when they die. But yeah, got that. So, and then you had these different, hold up, drills and shit. Hold up. Like you had drills called Grid X drills. Way back when. Hold up. Let me try to pull it up. Yup. You had a drill called Grid X. It was back in 2013. Yup. His worries over the power grid rise, they've always been at it. Because not by accident that they worded it like that. A drill will stimulate a knockout blow. So something like an EMP or a hack of the power grid. Something like that, right? Yeah. 2013, you had it. 2014, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this article was based off. No, so like this side 20. 2013, you know. And so, yeah, they've been aiming at it. And, most recently, during what, like, if you look at it, was basically like a test run of the Dark Winter, but it wasn't like, the actual deal. Last winter in Texas and other parts of the South, you had a power grid fail in a lot of areas, and it was due to a snowstorm. But we know that these devils, they got that, they play with the weather. They got that harp. It's a HAARP, they machine that they can fuck with the weather. And they got them chemtrails, so we know that they can manipulate the weather. And wouldn't be surprised if, that was also, a way of testing that out. You had a lot of outages. Many parts of Texas, you had apartments that had fucking leaks from what was caused by outages as well, because there was what was caused by both the cold weather and also no heat because of the outage. And you had fucking leaks and you had icicles hanging from chandeliers and shit. It's crazy. But they tested that shit out. Basically, you look at it, it was a fucking dry run for the Dark Winter. But yeah, even that, you had areas had days without it. Mainly in areas where your tribes live. That was another. That was another test. That was another test run. Just different examples of it, where they fucking tested that shit out. Well, let me get into how this all ties in, because these devils, they're talking about a dark winter, man. Joe Biden talking about dark winter, and something that's interesting about that also, so you could tie that in, because dark winter, obvious, right? But also something else that you know, is very interesting about Biden using that term is you had a drill called Operation Dark Winter, and it was back in 2001, from June 22nd to the 23rd. June 22nd, well, I've heard that before. No, I've heard it before. June 22nd. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. It has. I'm not really sure. It has something to do with where I hear it from, but it has something to do with their false flags and shit, or something that they have planned. It's called yeah, I heard about it way back. It's called Operation Blackjack, and it was about nuke attacks that they would pull off. But it would be like false flags, like 9/11. Yeah, I remember that. But it's interesting how they had that drill on that day, June 23rd, 2001. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, the Johns Hopkins Center for Civilian Biodefense Studies, and something else I saw too. Hold on. Huh, slide. Never mind. But yeah. Let me continue on. The Johns Hopkins Center for Civilian Biodefense Studies, the ANSER Institute for Homeland Security, or just ANSWER Institute for Homeland Security, and Oklahoma City National Memorial Institute for the Prevention of Terrorism, whatever, hosted a senior level work game examining the national security and the governmental information challenges of a biological attack on the American homeland. With tensions rising in the Taiwan Straits, just see and you see what's going on right now. See what's going on right now too. Ties right in, and the major crisis developing in Southwest Asia. Ties right in. A smallpox outbreak was confirmed. Dude, this shit is perfect. Links right up. A smallpox outbreak. Too coincidental. Nah, ain't no coincidence. Let me continue though. Smallpox outbreak was confirmed by the CDC in OKC during the 13 days of the game. The disease spread to 25 states and 15 other countries. 14 participants and 60 observers witnessed terrorism slash warfare in slow motion, discussions, debates, some rather heated, and decisions focused on the public health response. Lack of a, oh shit, this shit should be sounding familiar by now. Lack of an adequate supply of smallpox, the V thing for smallpox, roles and missions of federal and state governments, civil liberties associated with quarantine and isolation, the role of DoD and potential military responses to an anonymous attack. Additionally, additionally, bruh, this shit is sounds too fucking familiar, and it should. Showing you that this is this actually is a pandemic. Additionally, a predictable 24/7 news cycle quickly developed that focused the nation and the world on the attack and response. 5 representatives from the National Press Corps, including print and broadcast, participated in the game. Oh shit. 5 representatives from the National Press Corps, including print and broadcast, very interesting, participated in the game and conducted a lengthy press conference with the president. Oh shit. Lengthy press conference with the president. So all this shit, see, and it's called Operation Dark Winter, man. It's called Operation Dark Winter. That is fucking crazy. But you know what they say, truth is stranger than fiction. Let me continue on. There's all these people, all these devils was involved in. Of course, President David Jordan, National Security Advisor, just, yeah, them, those devils. Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Oh yeah, I don't think it was his first go around before he was up. No. Under Trump, he was Attorney General, and then under it was Bush back then, 2001. Director, Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Honorable William Sessions. So that Edomite sounds familiar. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, it's a different Edomite, I think. No, I was thinking of Jeff Sessions, that other Edomite. That was Attorney General. Different Edomite. But yeah. Federal Bureau of Investigation, of course, they're involved. The devil I just told you about, Governor of Oklahoma. All these devils, man. Had the little crafty council. Pentagon producer, Miss Mary Walsh. And then you had a reporter, British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. Side Networks reporter, the New York Times, of course, Judith Miller, reporter freelance, Lester Rangel, they see hi to NBC News, of course they're involved in that. And NBC News correspondent, Mr. Jim Mikla Shusky. I think that's how you say it. No fucking shit, of course they're involved. Let me continue though. Not take too long on this article. The players were introduced to this crisis during a National Security Council meeting scheduled to address several emerging crises, including the deployment of a carrier task force to the Middle East. At the start of the meeting, the Director of Health and Human Services informed the President of a confirmed case of smallpox in OKC. Additional smallpox cases were soon identified in Georgia and Pennsylvania. More cases were reported in Oklahoma. The source of the infection was unknown. The exposure was, this shit sounds too familiar. And the exposure was presumed to have taken place at least 9 days earlier, due to a lengthy incubation period of smallpox. Consequently, exposed individuals had likely traveled far from the Loshi, I believe that means location. That's just an abbreviation, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Of what was now presumed to be a biological attack. The scenario spanned 13 days. Yo, this fucking shit should sound so familiar. This shit should ring a bell. This shit right here. That's like a script of what's going on right now. Fucking identical, except they're calling it, except, it's the DVOC instead. But let me get back to what I was going into. Yep. Yep. And then it says findings: an attack on the U.S. with biological weapons could threaten vital national security interests. Massive civilian casualties, breakdown in essential institutions, violation of democratic processes. Oh shit! Like your freedom of speech being taken away. Yeah. Civil disorder. Seen a lot of that. Maskers versus anti-maskers. People who don't want to get beat up versus people who are down with it. A lot of civil disorder. A lot of sedition among men. Loss of confidence in government and reduced U.S. strategic flexibility abroad are among the ways a biological attack might compromise U.S. security. 2. Current organizational structures and capabilities are not well suited for the management of a BW attack. Major quote-unquote fault lines exist between different levels of government, federal, state, and local. So that what they're doing is, and what are they promoting right now? Between government and the private sector, among different institutions and agencies and within the public and private sector. So let me read on. These disconnects, quote unquote, could impede situational awareness and compromise the ability to limit loss of life, suffering, and economic damage. So shit reads just like a script. Just like a fucking script. Like it's almost like all this shit was pre-planned. because it was. You know, this is what they're talking about now, man. Now they're talking about doing away with those disconnects as a solution to it. Because as I brought out my other lives that I did on my other channel, they got a strike put on it because I brought out too much info about the V thing, right? That was a threat. That was a threat. You know, it's called Ahabamoth Yasharala. Yasharala is all caps. Hopeful legs. Yeah. 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 Just look that channel up. You know, I did a live on basically on an article that had come out. It's a natural news article where it exposed the devils, you know, these Edomites and these Moabites, so-called Chinese, working together, you know, basically implement this pandemic. You know how they basically like created that shit, how they worked together in that Wuhan lab, you know, and exposed it, and then they released it. They the ones that they released like a lightweight version, but it was real, but it spread easy, but it's not as easy as what they say. It spread easy, but it was a lightweight version that had a low fatality rate. That's what you see right now with this. I call it Diva, or call it Crown Royal 1984 edition. We call it that to get around the algorithm. But yeah, you know, they released that lightweight shit out here first. The Crown Royal Light, I guess you could say that. And then they finna basically release like some shit that actually kill people. You know, the article talked about a super MERS, basically, that will actually kill people. And because of how it's a leak of the actual plan that they fucking got. And they already had the people here. They already have them here. You know, them agents that's gonna release the shit. But yeah, you know, and then simultaneously there would be, you know, cyber attacks and shit simultaneously. You know, that showed. And then, you know, you got them FEMA camps to set up, aka the DVOD camps, right? That's set up to round up those who they say have, you know, are infected or contagious. You know, in other words, you know, those who don't want to get beat up, as well as like it was going into, you know, the so-called Haitian migrants, you know, and how they was using that as a smoke screen to bring it in. It's really I made the connection, but brothers made the connection. They're gonna basically blame those Haitians as well as the so-called Mexicans that have been crossing over. They're gonna blame them. But how's a whole, yeah, it's a whole, yeah, it's a conspiracy. It's a fucking plan to do evil, you know, between the elites of Esau, Edom, the U.S. government, which is run by them, and the Moabites, the Chinese government. And even, the sellouts among the so-called Mexican tribe of Ishkar, the top cartel leaders. How it was a plot. How they was involved in getting them agents in. You know, really, what the fuck? Just get scapegoated in the end. But they was lied to. They was told that, oh, you'll get the Southwest of America back if you help us. That is just to bait them in. I went into that in my live, my Dowler channel, my main. But yeah, links up with that Dark Winter as well, man. That they keep talking about. They just they keep mentioning it. But it is something that they want to drill in your head. That it is something they're planning to do. It's predictive programming. They have to tell you. It's in their rules. They have to tell you somehow. They don't have to, like, they have to tell you somehow. It's one of their rules. Like, they don't have to make it blatantly obvious, but they do have to tell you. So they do shit like that, But bruh, it gets better. Just read this. It's like this article, Center for Health Safety .org, and it's going into. It's about the exercise Dark Winter. Reads like a script. Let me get point 3. There is no surge capability in the U.S. healthcare and public health systems, or in the pharmaceutical and industries. This institutionally limited surge capability could result in hospitals being overwhelmed and becoming inoperable. It could impede public health agencies' analysis of the scope, source, and progress of the epidemic, their ability to educate and reassure the public, and their capacity to limit casualties and the spread of disease. Yeah, because this whole pandemic, man, you notice they were saying that shit. Oh, hospitals are stuffed, they're full, they're but it was bullshit. It was hyped up. Them doctors, nurses, they was chilling, bro. They was making TikTok videos and shit. For the most part, it wasn't much to do. But now it's gonna be real because now all the mandates are being passed. That's pushing a lot of these doctors to quit, because they don't want to take the shit, It should tell you something, should raise alarm bells too. If the doctors and nurses don't want to take it. Because usually they don't have a problem with taking it. But they don't want to take it, that should raise some alarm bells. Red flags. But yeah, there you go. That's gonna cause an actual shortage. It's already causing one in New York State. The more they roll this out, like they rolled it out LA. All indoor public areas. Shit, you gotta let them hit you up, stick you up, go in there. So, it continues. And yeah, get the point. I'm going to move on to the fourth one. Dealing with the media will be a major immediate challenge for all levels of government. Oh, information management. Oh, information management. In other words, telling the people what is misinformation and what is not, you know, and banning shit that they don't want people to know. In other words, and communication, e.g., dealing with the press effectively, communication with citizens, maintaining information flows necessary for command and control at all institutional levels will be a critical element in crisis consequence measure. Yo, this is just like a script for it. They following it. So you see that, it's obvious that I'll move on to point five. Should a contagious bioweapon pathogen be used, containing the spread of disease will present significant ethical, political, cultural, operational, and legal challenges. Smallpox, because of its high case. Hold on, let me see what else I get here from here. They was actually planning to like release that shit, but they fucking went back to the drawing board. Yo, man. Smallpox, because of its high case fatality rate and transmissibility, represents one of the most serious biological warfare threats to the civilian population. In 1980, the World Health Assembly announced that smallpox had been eradicated and recommended that all countries cease, giving out that thing, the V thing. Although labs in two countries still officially stole smallpox samples, US and Russia, its reappearance would almost certainly indicate an intentional outrage. Oh man, you could read it, it's almost like, you could imagine these devils. Yeah, let's do this shit. I think this is a good plan to implement our new world order. You could just you could just picture it. Aerosol release a small, like, yo, man. Aerosol release a smallpox virus disseminated among a very relatively small population could result in a significant epidemic. In the Natural News article, they was talking about releasing it like that, like the MERS over these areas and shit, like that. Drones and shit. One way they could do it, and that's in their plans. And in their plans. Evidence suggests the infectious dose is very small. Shit, that was nothing but Satan, bro. Kicked me out my own life. Slack it for that. What be happening though? Several factors are all. Hold on. Yeah. Several factors are cause for concern. The disease has historically been feared as one of the most serious of all pestilential diseases. It's physically disfiguring. It bears a 30% case fatality rate. There's no treatment. It is communicable from person to person. The V thing, the dissemination, the V thing ceased giving You know what I'm saying? Ceased in this country in 72, and immunity acquired before that time has undoubtedly waned, which they say it was due to that. But do your research, man. Like they be lying. Just almost say this. They be lying. Prior to eradication, data on smallpox outbreaks in Europe indicated that victims had the potential to infect 10 to 20 others. However, there has never been a smallpox outbreak in such densely populated, highly mobile. Vito. Oh shit. Notice how they're blaming the people not having the, not having the V thing, not following with the V thing. Notice how it's being tied into that as well. And today it's being tied in. Oh, it's the people that don't want to get down with it. It's that they're the problem. Yeah. In 1947, in response to a single case of smallpox in New York City. And hey, you know what? You could get that article. I told you where to get it. Told y'all where to get it, so you can read the rest for yourself, but you get the point. These devils, man. They've been plotting. And I was reading about a Operation Dark Winter from June 23rd to 23, 2001. It was about a biological attack. And just like reads like a script. For anyone that may be new to this live, it reads like a script to what's going on right now. Showing you that this was nothing but more crafty counsel. They take crafty counsel. These devils are steady plotting. Psalms 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Yup. They have said, verse 4, they have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So they're always trying to fuck our people over. They're always trying to do it in one way or another. Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They're confederate against you. Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabs of Moab, that's the so-called Chinese. See, two of those nations were the main ones involved in this conspiracy. And the Hagarenes, those are the actual Egyptians, that are so-called Africans. Hamites, Gabal and Ammon. So like Gabal, that's more Hamites. And Ammon, that would be the so-called Japanese. And Amalek, that would be the 1948ers. They're the chief house. They're the ones behind all these plots against our people. We've been behind it. Ever since we got out of Egypt. Ever since they was the first nation to attack us. They're Edomites, by the way. The Amalek is a grandson of Edom. The Philistines were the inhabitants of Tyre, more so-called Africans, indigenous Africans that sold the so-called black people to the so-called white men. They sold the real Jews. to the so-called white men, the Edomites. Ashur also is joined with them. The Assyrians, it's in Iraq. They've helped the children of Lot. Those would be your Moabites and your Ammonites. Today's would be today's East Asian. So that's your list right there. You notice that Moab, they're also mentioned twice because Moabites are children of Lot. But they would also be a major player in this conspiracy against our people. It was prophesied and it's coming to pass. And let me get these conspiracies, they're very intricate. They're very well designed. Because this is what these people do. It's just what they do. They plot. Right here. Psalm 64:1. Hear my voice, O power Yahweh, and my prayer preserve my life from fear of the enemy, the adversary. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Verse 3. Whet their tongue like a sword. Wet their tongue like a sword. W-H-E-T. Not wet like moist, but wet like sharp, to sharpen. Wet. W-H-E-T. To sharpen by rubbing on or with something such as a stone. Whet, a knife. To make keen or more acute. Excite, stimulate. Whet, the appetite. Whet, or her curiosity. Whet. That's what that word means. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, unrighteous decrees, propaganda, bullshit propaganda about for example, about the Israelites. They use a lot of that. Verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. In other words, lies, man. Bitter words. Verse 4. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Yep. Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Yeah. That's what they do. They're like, these, they call us useless eaters. These useless eaters, they ain't gonna fucking know better. They don't know what the fuck we doing. They think they could hide from the Most High, man. Verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. They search out iniquities. They're always that's what they're meditating on. They are always thinking about ways to fuck us over somehow. Always doing it. They accomplish a diligent search. They're like Pinky in the brain. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. It's the heart. Hebrew word there is lav, meaning your mind. Their mind is deep. That's why. If you look at these conspiracies, man, it's like, It's layer after layer after layer after layer after layer after layer after layer. Shoot, so much levels to it. Verse 7. But, oh, yeah. It goes into how, they're getting exposed by their own, too. That's happening, which is how we know about these conspiracies. And they, in the way they snitch on themselves as well. But the whole point here is, these conspiracies is real deep. That's when we bring those particular scriptures out. But yeah, and one of the methods they use, one of the devices they use is predictive programming. That's one right there. That's what they do. And what the fuck? Hold up. They're gonna fucking deny it, of course. Of course. They put it in your face and like, what? What do you mean we said that? They put it in the movies, in the TV shows, the cartoons, because ain't nothing but kids watching them. They don't know any better. So they put the most in there. Like in the G.I. Joe movie. There's a brother that brought this out. He even have G.I. Joe Operation Blackout video games. I think they're so fucking slick. Hold up. I think it's in this one, The Rise of Cobra, because it was talking about just basically, was talking about as a scene in that movie G.I. Joe that was talking about these devils basically crashing the dollar, for the new world order, the new world currency included in that, a digital currency. It basically puts it right in your face. It's for a new order, new currency for a new order. But yeah, that's one of Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians, bring this out a lot, 2:11, KJV. That Satan should get an advantage, all of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Since that's very important. That's very important. You've got to be aware, you got to be woke to his devices. Otherwise, you're going to be caught off guard. And be not ignorant. This one links right up as precept in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 5:15, and what's known as the Apocrypha. It was a part of the original King James Version, 1611. Be not ignorant of anything in the great matter or small. You're not supposed to, because, hey, there's a saying in the world, and I bring this out a lot. It's a saying in the world, the devil is in the details, and it's true. them details that you don't think matters. Them be the ones that matter the most in reality. Let me hold up. One of their conspiracies, one of their plots to bring about a new world order is to basically cause a bunch of chaos first, so that people will actually want a new world order or a great reset. Well, to reset something, it's like restarting it. You restart your computer, for example. It turns off, then turns back on. So you can see what they're gonna do, man. Dark winter, great reset, dark winter, great reset, build back better. They're telling you. And in biblical prophecy is hinted that shit would go down in the winter. I believe that it's very likely. Let me get Matthew 24 and 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, either on the Sabbath day. Verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be. A time like never before. Historical time, right? And I've seen a lot of historical type of events. Jacob's trouble, in other words. Time like never before. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. That's how bad it's going to be. So that's how bad it's going to be, and if it's in the winter, it's going to be worse. Because let me read from 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, and that back then was talking about the Roman troops going into the temple and defiling it, burning it down, all that. That was it's talking about that. It was spoken of by Daniel the prophet. So that was before the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. That devil defiled the temple. But this was even worse what the Romans did and then fucking destroyed it. And I believe they put up a temple of Jupiter later on. Or was that, I believe. The Romans just, desolation is destruction, man. They made it desolate. The abomination of desolation. Spoken of by Daniel the prophet. That was the first one. That was like, and then that was the one spoken of by Yahushua as well, man. But, you have a part two, because it is Rome all over again. And instead of you having an actual building where the temple is at, your temple is your body. Which temple ye are. Let me get that scripture. Which is why they trying to, dip you up and chip you up. One Corinthians, which is why shows you how Shows you why, in another way, shows you how the laws was not even done away with. But let me get this scripture right here. You know, let me get the scripture right here, because that would be defiling the temple. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of power Yahweh, and that the spirit of power Yahweh dwelleth in you? So this time, our bodies are the temple, the bodies of the elect are the temple, which I hope to be at that number. Right now it's hopeful that's because we don't know. But the bodies of the elect, 1/3 of the nation of Israel, all 12 tribes, are the temple. So the abomination of desolation would be, would be the RFID chip, would be the mark of the beast this time around. And they're trying to put it, that Esau's trying to make the third temple desolate as well, basically. But he ain't gonna get the elect, but he gonna try. And hey, the V thing, you look at it, it's a prelude to it. So what it is, it's like the step before it. The mandating that shit, because what's gonna come from that? Oh, we've got to make sure these people have it. We gotta make sure that they have it. Nah, but your zombie card don't work no more, man. Nah, people can fake it. That app don't work no more. People can fake it. Nah, we've got to put a chip inside you. And it's gonna come down to that. And they even developing a chip with a V thing in it, so that let's just give you the whole enchilada instead, and you'll never be unV'd up, and you'll never be unV'd up because you'll always be given a dose, and it'll be inside you. And also goes with the digital dollar that they finna announce, man. Goes with it as well. And everything that they're doing is to achieve that. Verse 16, let them, which that means total control, total slavery. That's what it means. They literally control you. They literally own your ass. What the juice that they're giving out, it changes your DNA. It changes your DNA so that you're now basically a genetically modified human. So you can be patented by these devils. And then think of the RFID chip as the barcode. There you go. They already rolled out a Internet of Things where they have RFID chips and different shit that you buy. And they chipped up they pushed chipping the pets, and now because now people, because that was that's called gradualism, and it's something else they use. Just so you don't notice the agenda. But they've been basically nudging you towards this point. Verse 16, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. And back then, our people, a portion of our people, southern kingdom, mainly you had some northern kingdom among them as well. But mainly Southern Kingdom, back in the land. They were in Judea, they was in the land. But, now you could take this, look at it, you could be like, it's wherever large community of Israelites is. Then let them, that would be your modern day Judea. Then let them, which be in Judea, flee into the mountains. Yep. Which is, so we're going to have to basically be on the run. We're going to have to be on the run when these devils roll. Verse 17, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. You're gonna have to dip, you have to bounce in that day. You ain't gonna be able to wait around. Verse 18, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Verse 19, it woe unto them that are with child and to them that give suck in those days. So it's going to be bad to have a kid in those days, because that's like an extra burden on you. You're a crying baby and you're on the run, not good. You're pregnant, you're on the run, you have extra needs. It's a burden on you. It slows you down. Verse 20, but pray leads right up to this, But pray, and also, if it's in the winter, even worse. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, either on the Sabbath day, even worse. The winter, then the Sabbath day, where you're supposed to rest, showing you that the laws was done away with as well. Because it would be bad because you have to rest on that day. Would make the Great Tribulation a whole lot worse. It's going to be like a time like never before. So if you think about it, and people ain't been praying like that, then be not in the winter, all that. So if you think about it, if they ain't been praying in the names that it be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, a lot of people, it's gonna be like the two, like it's gonna be most likely, like it's a good chance of it. Let me just say that because I ain't setting dates. I'm not supposed to. It's a good chance of it happening in the winter. New lineup of verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. It's going to be a time of pure hell. The elect is going to be protected at least. The 2/3 not going to be protected. And from the looks of it, these devils, they're about to roll soon. And also this lines up with Amos 5 and 8. I'm gonna start at 17. Amos 5 and 17. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm getting it. I'm gonna start 18, so I can scratch that. But yeah, I'm gonna get it right now. Amos 5 and 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh, To what end is it for you? You so-called Christians that be like y'all be doing all types of wickedness, eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Celebrating pagan folly days like Christmas, like Halloween, Easter, which is literally named after a fertility goddess. Come on now. Y'all wicked as hell. But you desire the day of Yahweh, like how? To what end is it for you? Like, how is it good for you? The day of Yahweh was darkness and no light. In a lot of areas it may be literally so. The day is just describing the time period. It's symbolic language. Verse 19, as if a man did flee from a lion in a bear meadow, one problem after another. I went into the house, leaned his hand on the wall, and the serpent bit him. One problem after another. Can't get away. Verse 20, shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness, not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it? Hey, see with them blackouts, that would literally be so for a lot of people. And also it's very likely that it's going to occur in the winter. It's very likely that they're going to pull some shit. But here's something else that I peeped. They're bringing this dark winter. Then after, they finna bring that as part of a great reset. So it's something else that I peeped. You know how during the springtime you have a spring forward, right? Fall, you have fall back. Spring, you have spring forward. Well, in China, you had something that was called the Great Leap Forward. And it was back, actually started off February 1958, around that time period, right? Great Leap Forward of the People's Republic of China was an economic and social campaign led by the Chinese Communist Party from 1958 to 1962. Chairman Mao Zedong launched a campaign to reconstruct the country from an agrarian economy into a communist society through the formation of people's communes. And the effects of it resulted in tens of millions of deaths, with estimates ranging from 15 to 55 million deaths, making the Great Chinese Famine the largest famine in human history. Chief changes in the life of rural Chinese people included the incremental introduction of mandatory agriculture collectivization. Happened at the Great Leap Forward. Okay, just look like shit I just read. And what it looks like is that these devils, they are basically, following that same model. They're gonna bring the pain. Looks like they can bring the pain during the winter, and then so people will cry out for a solution, and that solution would be You would order. And that's also what they do as well. There's a method that they use. It's called problem, reaction, solution. Also known as this. The Algerian dialect. It's known as that as well. It's the same shit. Different words for it. You have a thesis, and you have an antithesis, and then you have a synthesis. Put them together. Problem, reaction, solution. That's how they work. Also, this as well. This is like a motto that they go by. It's order ab chaos, which means order out of chaos. It's a motto that these devils go by. It's the 33rd degree Freemason motto. And you can see that's what they're trying to accomplish here. Causing all kinds of chaos just so they could bring the order. Also, something else. They keep showing you in these movies, TV shows too. There's a show that has been trending on Netflix. It's called The Squid Games. And you just look at it, man. And there's a scene in there where they feed people less food. It's just already bad. Where they feed people less food, and the people fight, and they just let it happen. And people fucking go at each other, but they're the ones that caused it with that policy. And then it's all hell breaking loose. Nobody's safe, and then this old dude calls for, so Moabite dude calls for them to restore order. Basically, hey, look, you ain't doing shit about it. Everybody killing each other. You ain't doing shit about it. What's going on here? We need y'all to restore order. And so they send in the guards. They shoot in the air and everything. Everybody put your hands up. Turn in your weapons. They're showing you in there. They're showing you right there. But they the ones that instigated the chaos. So they keep showing you. They show you in the Purge movies when there wasn't enough bullshit going on. They sent agents into those areas. And it was mainly where? In the hoods, in the barrios. The first purge, what they did. The forever purge, they look at it, man. It was the purge getting out of hand. They keep telling you. Actually, the forever purge showed you a race war. If you look at it, it was these so-called white militias. They was the Trump supporting type coming after so-called Mexicans, so-called black people, and so-called natives. They just that's nothing but predictive programming. Showing you what they got in store. These devils, man, they really think that Like, they really think that they got it like that, which is why they do that. But, they don't realize that they're the biggest puppets of them all. Because, and that their plans ultimately is not going to succeed. Because, get this right here. What the fuck? Just looking up that scripture. The deceived and the deceiver is. And I clicked on some video game called Deceit. And this shit look like the devil from the Squid Games. That them rich ass devils that came over from the US. They represented the elites. And they was called the VIPs. One of them looked like that bunny that did. And also looked like a Rothschild party from Eyes Wide Shut. The dude that produced that movie, was behind the Eyes Wide Shut movie. They took him out, by the way. And he brought out some good info. That's like a recommended watch. But let me get this right here. Job 12:16 was with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. The deceived and the deceiver are his. There you go. So, and all these devils are doing, man, is they don't realize it, but they're just placed there to punish us. That's all. All their role is to punish us. But they're puppets. They think that they're on some type of level, but all they are is puppets. They're just, it was prophesied for them to do this. It was prophesied for them to do this, and it's prophesied for them to go down. So, it's just a process that's got to play out. They're gonna do their thing, and then, but they ain't gonna get too far with it. Like when they roll on the elect. There's a scripture for what's gonna happen when they roll on the elect. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So shall they fear Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against them. So shall they fear the name. That when that happens, they're gonna roll. They're gonna come and basically they're gonna steamroll right through the 2/3, and then they're gonna run into, that's how I describe it, but it's just an analogy. 144-foot vibranium oil, like them like off that Marvel show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Talk about vibranium. It's supposed to be like what gives them superpowers and all that, like the key to it. But like, really look at it, it's like play on words. The vibe being raised, man. The vibration being raised. Vibration of the elect is going to be raised. So they make them type movies, a lot of them, for a reason, because they know what's coming. Zechariah 2:12-8. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people for its a place. So the people who inhabited Jerusalem in the time of Zechariah is going to defend those people. Now, in other words, that's another way of looking at it. He's going to basically defend the elect Israelites, okay? And he that is feeble among them at the day shall be as David, straight up. And the house of David shall be as powers. So the word there's Alahayim, not Elohim. There's no E's and O's in Hebrew, not the original. It's Alahayim, powers. Singular is Allah. They just mean power. As the angel of Yahweh before them. So the house of David is gonna be as powers. Angel of Yahweh before them. You know, meaning they're not gonna be like regular men. They're gonna be changed. We shall be changed. KJV reminds me of that one. Well, that's. Hold up. Let me get you know, that's also prophesied as well. Because not only is he gonna defend us, or Yahweh, Lord willing, I'll be of that number. If I am. 1 Corinthians 15:51. Behold, I show you mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Yeah, that's also, well, it's a hope. It's something to hold on to, man. So you don't lose hope. Verse 52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, that last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. We shall be changed. We shall be changed. Yo. Verse 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So all that's going on, it's just a process. It's just a process for, in order for this to happen, that eternal life, right? Verse 54, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, the mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, what death is swallowed up in victory. Meaning the elect is going to be protected, man. Like, even, like, yo, it's reason to hold on. Even the dead, it says Christ, but that's because, you know, it's Greek, translated to Greek than English. But in Hamashiach, really, because Mashiach mean anointed one. In Hebrew, the paleo. Let me get down to this right here. Then I'm wrap it up. I'm wrap it up soon. So I think I addressed the point. But yeah, 1 Thessalonians 4:16, for Yahweh Shai himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with a trump of power. Yahweh, the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Verse 17, so they're gonna rise first. You see, even those that do get put to death, they're going. It's like basically first in line. VIP. Verse 17, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet Yahweh Shai in the air, so shall we ever be with Yahweh Shai. And you're supposed to comfort the elect with those words. Verse 18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. That's why you endure into the end, man. Because these devils is finna roll. Revelation 2:10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. Got them FEMA camps all over. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful in death, and I'll give thee eternal life. Yeah, endure. Shit, it's gonna be worth it for the elect. It's gonna be, well, I mean, if you endure into the end, you the elect. Straight up. Matthew 24:13. KJV. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. But yeah, just, hey, basically, this is like a reminder. This is a live reminder of what time we in. We're in those times when these devils is about to roll. And they gonna come like that, They gonna come like a flood, man. And what bring a flood? A storm, right? What that devil Donald Trump say back in 2019. It's the calm before the storm. So the overwhelming scourge. Calm before what? The overwhelming scourge. How these devils is gonna come in. Stormtroopers. Ultimately, them UN blue helmets, ultimately, so-called peacekeepers. Because, hey, they enforcing the mandates on the military, on the cops, and they're fucking like, they're dipping out, man. They're like, hell no, we ain't with this shit. That's creating a shortage. Hey, right there too. That's what they're gonna use to bring in the UN. Those are gonna be the new police, the UN blue helmets. And they aren't gonna give a fuck about nobody's rights. They're gonna spare none. Be like, man. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. Yeah, this is all part of that dark winter that they got. Hey, in this same chapter though, it reassured the elect, just endure. You gonna be straight. 2nd Ezra 16. All right, yo, man. This basically all. This lines up with Revelation 12:12. The devil about to come down with great wrath. Verse 68, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. Verse 69, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach, and trodden under foot. Verse 70, for there shall be in every place, and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. They're aiming at the tribes, particularly the elect, those that have that true fear, according to knowledge. You 2/3, yeah, they won't take you out, but 2/3 are really just in the way, Really, they're aiming at the elect, not low-hanging fruit they can get already, but the elect, which is all the way up to the top. Could look at it that way. Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. That's all executive orders that was passed, enabling them to do this shit back in 2012. That Hamite that was not our people. It was a puppet of Esau too. He passed them executive orders, national defense preparedness executive orders, and it enabled this. When they cast you out of their house, where they gonna take you? The FEMA camps. Verse 73. Then, when they do this, shall they be known who are my chosen, his elect, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Then it's gonna be known. Verse 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, say Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Verse 75. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for power Yahweh is your guide. Oh, his guide, because he's back along with the other prophets and scribes and all that. He's back as someone else, because that's real reincarnation, all that's biblical. Verse 76, and the guide of them, the place of judgment is here on earth. You don't go to some side note before I get into this. You don't go to some place under the earth called hell, whatever. Really, that comes from Hades. You don't go there, man. Nah, the place of judgment is on earth. The Most High, Yahweh, and He hands you your judgment when you're up there. That's what that great white throne is all about. He hands you your judgment, and then you come back down. About 3-4 generations, because since let me get that scripture, because it's 2 scriptures that prove it. It's 3rd and 4th generation. Let me get that scripture that I'm talking about when I talk about that. Ecclesiastes, which is Exodus 34:7, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression, sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children to the 3rd and 4th generation. Keep that in mind. Keep 3rd and 4th generation in mind. And then you put it together with this. Because some people will look at it as a contradiction, but not so. Because they don't believe in reincarnation. That's why. But the soul that sinneth, it shall die. Get this, Ezekiel 18:20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Keep in mind, soul, body's temporary, soul's forever. So that soul that sinned, that soul that went off, come back. When they come back, if they didn't get judged for it, or if they didn't get judged for it enough in their lifetime, they could come back and experience, they could come back and be born with the birth defect. Some shit could happen to them later on that could cripple them, death, it's just like sleep. You're not escaping nothing. That's why we don't worry about man. Fear not him that can kill the body. That's why you don't worry about it. Because you come back. Because once you're dead, man can't touch you, but Most High can. Matthew 10 and 28, because he could touch you. He could touch you in ways that man can't. Could have you, like I said, be born with the debilitating birth defect. That's why you wonder why was this baby born this way, man? The way he do. Well, did some shit in his past life. Matthew 10 and 28, and for the most part, it's judgment. Matthew 10 and 28, fear not him which kill the body, but are able to kill the soul, but rather fear him, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Hell is the lowest state. Use this context, it's the lowest state. Your soul is energy. Your soul is pure energy. Fire is energy. So it can't be talking about that. It's talking about a very low condition. The Most High Yahweh can put you in a very low state in your next life or in that life. But yeah, just two of many scriptures that prove reincarnation. Had to go into it as a side because I made a side note on that. But let me continue. Verse 76 of 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And the God of them will keep my commandments and precepts. Say the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Okay, so it's reassuring the elect that basically you got us. Yahweh Ratazah be that number again. That's why I hope to be. But yeah, I think I done made my point already. And we gotta warn y'all cause let me get that Watchman on the wall scripture. We gotta warn y'all. If we don't warn y'all, blood is on our hands. We're responsible for the shit that we're responsible for it. We don't warn y'all. Let me get Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word in my mouth and give them warning from me. Verse 18, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked, speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Verse 19, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Yep. It's a job. And it's a job. It really is. And you can't go MIA. No. Yeah. Not only warning the wicked of our people, but warning those that are in the truth, Verse 20, again, when a righteous man does turn from his iniquity, from his righteousness, and commit iniquity, and lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Verse 21, nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he did not sin, he shall surely live. Because he is warned, also thou hast delivered thy soul. Yeah, man. Like, this thing is that serious, man. This thing is that serious. We gotta, like, this ain't no joke. This ain't no trend. This ain't no, ain't none of that. This is that serious. You know, that role, being the watchman. But yeah, we got one, y'all. That's why we do these lives. That's why, you know, we go out on the highways and byways when we can. That's why we do all that, man. Just don't want. It's because we gotta do it. It's because we gotta do it. And it's also, you know, showing true love. You know, it's showing true love for the elect. You warning them of evil, man. That's showing true love. Whether they, the 2/3, you know, we're telling them. So in a way, we're showing them love, telling them they're just not. This just not the type of love that they don't think of it as love. You know, think of it as a hate. Oh, you're full of hate, man. Why are you always talking about how the so-called white man's our enemy? Why are you always talking about America's Babylon, man? Why you always hating, bro? Like, that's how they think of it. Why you looking forward to the end of this place, man? Why you want Russia nuking? Why you tell me stop eating pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, etc.? All them unclean foods. Bottom feeders. Why you tell me stop eating that? I like how it tastes. This is how 2/3 look at them. Look at the watchmen of their own nation, basically. I want to eat sea roaches in peace. That's how they be like. That's why 2/3, you know, since they don't they didn't have knowledge of the truth, man, because they didn't have the love for it. That's why they're gonna be destroyed. They didn't have the love of the Father. So they didn't have the love of the truth. Let me get you know, these 2/3, man, gonna fall for the okie doke one way or another. 2 Thessalonians 2:10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. They didn't receive the love of the truth. Verse 11, and for this cause power Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Verse 12, that they might all be damned. They all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. That's what, you know, that's what the 2/3 are. You know, that's what they're destined for, death. By pain on this side. Get it on the next. Verse 13, but we are bound to give thanks always to power Yahweh for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, beloved of Yahweh Shai, because power Yahweh had from the beginning chosen you to salvation, through sanctification of the spirit and belief in the truth, and hope to be that number. You know, if you're sincere in this thing, hope to be that number. But yeah, you know, I think I proved my point. I hope this live was edifying. I'm gonna get This life was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who will citations to the argument out there spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the rest of the elect. You know, the men can't prophesy. You know, they're disabled from prophesying, but like their disability prevents them. But really, you know, it's because, you know, they was set up to be prophets. You know, but they're friends of the prophets. They support the prophets in the best of their ability. And the women and children who believe. Shalom, stay strong. We're almost out of here. This place is going down. This place of our captivity is going down, you know, fast. Faster and faster, it's picking up speed. You know, we almost out of here. We almost, and you know, Jacob got next. Esau got last. Jacob got next. Like it says in Second Ezra's, who's the beginning of the next world? Second Ezra's 6 and 9. KJV. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You know, Esau, really the last heathen nation to rule the world. The lowest of the low, imagine that. And then the princes of the power ruling after, which is what Yasharallah means. Alright, Shalom, stay strong. Babel, that means death to Babylon, which is America according to biblical prophecy. You know, Abad, death. Abad means death. La, 2. Adawamium, these damn Edomites. Or just Edomites. You know, and that's coming as well. Lord's gonna bring it. And death to these heathens. These people that took part, these nations that took part in our downfall and make money off of it. And still do. You know, Abad, La Gawayim in Hebrew. And also a dead to these 2/3, man. They ain't gonna get her on this side. Lord's gonna bring it. You know, we're not calling for no acts of violence. We're not telling people to pick up arms or nothing like that. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So that's for the fucking record. Even though we know these devils are gonna accuse us, that's for the fucking record. Shalom. Anyways, yeah. Hope this live was edifying. Shalom. Stay strong. We almost out of here. Enduring to the end. The same shall be saved. Stay strong and Yasharallah forever. It's not Wakanda forever. It's Yasharallah, Israelites forever. Shalom, stay strong. Yahweh Shai, you know, he's on his way back. You know, it's almost here. Shalom, stay strong.